All right, great. I haven't looked at the quiz in some time, but it's exactly how I remember it, and it's exactly these are perfect questions for how they're going to appear on the exam. Um, so basically, what they're going through is they're going through the energy systems that are being used. They're looking at the fiber types that are being used and the different types of adaptations. So this is perfect. Okay, so 35-year-old female began an exercise program 4 months ago, and she's been running 4 days a week. So she's been doing running, right? So what energy system do you think that's going to be in? Is that more high intensity or low intensity or moderate intensity type stuff? She's not going to really have the anaerobic adaptations. It's going to be more of the aerobic adaptations. So if we were to look at that chart from before this one here, she's going to be more here because she's just running on the treadmill, right? And if it's high intensity, it's usually going to say it's high intensity. It's going to say sprinting or high intensity. But when you say running, it's just going to be assumed that just someone got a pair of tennis shoes and started to do their work. And so she's going to have more of those aerobic type adaptations. So type 1 fiber, muscle tissue release. So you're going to have, okay. So this is basically four true false questions in one. The right answer is right here, the increase in mitochondria density and decrease in submax heart rate. Submax, she's going to have that increased in that density, and her submax heart rate, she's going to be operating at a lower level. Let me just make sure that's correct. Yeah. If she has an increased resting blood pressure, remember with the cardiovascular adaptations, everything improves. So your lower, your heart rate's going to be lower, your blood pressure is going to be better. You're going to have better vascular tone. Your body, your heart, cardiovascular system is going to be more efficient at delivering tissues and blood to the tissues and resources. So she's not going to have a decreased ability to use glucose for fuel. She's actually going to have an increase because she's going to be spending more time in that glycolytic that system. So she's going to be using sugar as that. So she's going to be better at, especially if she's getting more mitochondria. So it's everything's going to improve in terms of that aspect. She's not going to have a decreased capillary density. That might happen if she was doing high intensity type aspect because she was doing more muscle hypertrophy. So the way to interpret the decrease in submax heart rate is that when she does exercise, when she does the more the more you exercise, the better your body gets at dealing with that exercise. And so if you take a sedentary individual and you put them on a treadmill, they haven't done anything. You put them on a treadmill at 5 miles per hour, within seconds, minutes, their heart rate's going to be up. They're going to be sweating. And you take someone that's been training for a while, right, and you put them on a treadmill for at 5 miles per hour, that's going to feel like no big deal, right? So they're barely going to bump, so their submax heart rate's not going to increase quite a bit. So that's how you kind of interpret that. So that's the one thing that got a little confusing with students in the past was, oh, a decrease in submax heart rate. The way that you interpret that is things are easier for you to do, so you're not putting out so much. Things aren't as stressful to you anymore, right? You've built up your tolerance. Like if you haven't worked out and you start working out with 100 pounds, that's like, oh, I can only do 2 reps. But now that your max is 200 pounds, 100 pounds is a mere warm up. Any questions there? Which of the following is primary response is the primary? Which of the following is primary responsible for activation of fast? So how do you recruit fast twitch muscle fibers? And you have either speed demands or force demands. And when you look at fast twitch muscle fibers, it's not it's total tension, right? How much load that you need. You need that total force aspect. Speed is a little bit there, but remember, speed demands are more in the slower twitch muscle, or it's you have you have a lower force output the faster you try to contract, right? So it's total tension and everything we talked about, and I think I have the speed demands because of fast twitch muscle fibers, right? And slow twitch muscle fibers that it might be related to speed, but it's definitely on the force aspect, right? Force, total tension is your primary aspect for fast twitch muscle fibers type 2. Which of the following energy systems produces the greatest amount of ATP? So we're looking at the highest yield. So for every molecule of substrate, which one's providing the most amount of ATP? Your phosphagen system is your fastest, but it's the lowest yielding, and your oxidative system is your slowest producing, but it's the highest yielding. So it has the greatest quantity of ATP produced. So this is looking at the adaptation for chronic aerobic exercise, so running, so similar to question 1. So that's going to be the right answer there. If you're doing more aerobic exercise, you're going to get more aerobic enzymes, and that's kind of talked about right here, the aerobic enzymes. You're actually going to see an increase in capillary density and mitochondria density, because when you do more aerobic training, you're going to favor more type 1 muscle fibers, and you may be breaking down more of the type 2 muscle fibers for fuel. And so what you end up seeing here are the, you're going to see a decreased cross-sectional area, not an increased. You're going to see, right, because you're not even using the type 2 fibers, you're using the type 1 fibers. So that should be pretty straight. Again, it's just navigating this graph here, this chart. So it says if you are looking for increased hormonal response, and it should clarify, but it should be assumed that this is for your anabolic hormones towards lean body mass, that it was the large muscle groups and the short rest periods that brought that on. And volume, it's also volume dependent, right? So it's high volume, short rest periods, and large muscle mass exercise that bring on the training response, the hormonal response. Benefits of youth training. Youth training, and when we're doing with youth training, they may or may not have peaked in puberty, and so the androgens aren't going to be there. And so you're going to see decreased body fat from just using tissue. You're going to see an improvement in cardiac function. You're going to see an increase in motor skills, but you're probably not going to see too much increase in muscle mass, right? You need to have the androgens there in order for that to happen. Which of the following is observed in men 30 minutes after resistance training? You're going to see all of these: testosterone, growth hormone, and cortisol. And that kind of goes back to, I have that up here. So 30 minutes into exercise, you're going to see an elevation of all of them. You're going to see increase in cortisol, increase in testosterone, increase in growth hormone. They all release. Now, later in exercise, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, you're going to see a decrease in growth hormone, decrease in testosterone. Early on in exercise, you're going to see mostly growth hormone, but growth hormone and cortisol are both released at the same time. They just are released at different quantities in terms of rate, of how fast they're being released. Strength training. Strength coach has two 16-year-old boys, males. One's going into puberty. One's a boy and one's a man, basically. One has facial hair and deepened voice, and one has not. Which of the following is true? There's going to be no training differences in same age and sex, even though they're same age and same sex, chronologically same age, but biologically they're vastly different. One has androgens present because of the facial hair and deepened voice, and one doesn't. Both would be focusing on tissue adaptations and improvement in strength, perhaps, but as the same with this question up here, the one that hasn't hit androgen aspect right is probably not going to put on too much mass, whereas this one's peaking or starting to have their androgen response, and they're going to focus more on that tissue accumulation. Training focus and dynamic, and so here, so the one that's not true because of the young age and they're still growing is that the youth, that's probably going to be the best answer, is that the consideration of the growth plates, like the overuse, the training, making sure there's enough rest period. Regardless, puberty, the growth plates are active from 0 until usually a year after puberty, right, or within that time frame. And so that's the one thing that's same about these, is that even though he's hit his androgen release now, his growth plates are still open, at least until 18, 19 years old. Read carefully. Which of the following describes what a client would do to allow the oxidative system to contribute to the greatest percentage? Okay. So I don't remember if this is the right answer, if that's the right answer, is jogging, but probably jogging, but maybe walking. Let's say walking. Let's see what the answer is, and I'll see, and then I'll clarify it in the question here. Change. So if you wanted to say which one was 100% in the oxidative system, sitting quietly would put you way over here. But what the question is saying is, how do you get the oxidative system to create to wait? Oh, well, that is the right answer then. This question is worded wrong. John, when you took the quiz, what did you get? Did you get the right answer, or did not release it yet?
So I got one wrong, but I think the answer is sitting quietly for this one.
It is sitting quietly, yeah. The way this is worded, my intent for this question was to say how do you I'm gonna change the question on this quiz, or at least, oh, you know what I'm not gonna do, because the question is gonna appear on the exam. So my intention for this was to get you to think through this a little bit in terms of how would you maximize your time in the oxidative system by burning the highest amount of calories rate. And so as I move this way, right, if you look at exercise intensity, that's going to increase the amount of total energy output that you're doing. You might be sitting quietly, but you're only burning 5 or 10 calories an hour. And then here you're burning 20 calories an hour. And then here you're burning 50 calories. And here you're burning 1,000 calories an hour, right? Like the intensity drives that. So sitting quietly will have here where you're contributing the greatest amount of energy. But if I move this way or ramp up my intensity from sitting quietly to standing to walking to jogging, I would still be in the oxidative system, but be burning a higher total amount of calories versus absolute. So yeah, that's the right answer. So ignore all of my things here. I'm going to remove the read carefully because that's a straightforward question then. Okay, 2 athletes are competing in upcoming competitors, a weightlifting meet and a marathon. So they're doing both ends of the spectrum. Which energy systems would be primarily used respectively? So which one would be in the weightlifting meet? Could be phosphagen or glycolytic. Let's look at the next part here, the marathon. Marathon is definitely oxidative. There's no question about it. So by logical deduction, that's the right answer, phosphagen and oxidative. Let's see how I did. I missed one, so let's see which one I missed. Ah, do this. Oh, I see. I did this wrong. I picked I don't know why I read this wrong. The minimal consideration regarding growth plates. That's the opposite of what I was saying. The for this question here, you would actually want to still consider growth plates because the growth plates are still open. So I don't know why I overlooked the word minimal. So no, you still want to consider. I said what I said was the right thing, but I picked this as the wrong answer. So this is the one I got wrong. So yeah, dynamic environments, you're still looking at the neurological development. So that's the one you want to consider. I thought it was looking for a false answer for here. So that's why I picked that one. So that was my wrong answer. But all the other ones were correct. Increased muscle mass is one that's the exception. Here, oxidative and sitting quietly. Let me just edit this question real quick. Which one did you get wrong, John? Do you know?
No, it wouldn't let me check.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure which one.
You don't remember? Okay. I think the answers will be available on Friday.
Okay, I do have a quick question about the upcoming unit exam. So on the syllabus itself, it says it's on chapter or module 5, 6, 7, and 8, but then in your announcement it says it's on modules 6, 7, and 8. So,
Whatever the energy systems are, whatever.
okay.
Six, seven, and 8. It said which one? What did the syllabus say?
The syllabus said 5 through 8.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's not 5. 5 was, we already did 5. But there are some aspects in 5. Maybe I put 5 in there too because of the aerobic and the intensity blood flow. But no, so module 5 was part of this guy up here. 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm getting ready, module 9 and 10. I'm already redoing my lectures. It's very exciting. Very exciting nutrition. You'll get more out of module 9 than you will an entire semester of NTR 101, Nutrition 101. So
Woo!
and there's not a $160 textbook to go along with it. So
Jesus Christ.
Did you take nutrition already, Tommy?
No, I still have to take it. I was gonna take it in the spring.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think Julia's going to do it in the spring as well. And it's part of the personal training program, but there's also KIN 225 that's going to be offered next spring as well, which is sports nutrition. I would, you can take that in lieu of NTR 101. So I would consider that class. The only risk for that is it may or may not run because it's not it's only offered every so often. And I'm not sure if it'll be popular or not, but it'll be a better class than the NTR 101. But the NTR 101 you can take. It's been done as an online class for years, and so it'll be a really nicely done online class. So I was gonna qualify my email to you, Julia, on saying that. That'd be the only aspect is that 225 has never been run as an online class before, so there might be some hiccups and different things there. So maybe you might want to do the NTR 101, do it in 6 weeks, and bang it out and be over and done with. So. At least they had clothes on. Any other questions? All right. So I'll be the last to leave, and I'll stick around if there's any questions. If not, Tommy, Julie, I'll see you tomorrow, and then John, we'll see you next week.
All right, deuces. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yep.